Hello and greetings everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate the time that you take to watch my channel. Dear viewers, this video will be a channel update to inform you about the future of the channel, planned projects and some other stuff. I want to start with an apology. As many of you likely have realized, I haven't been putting up new videos for the last 2 months. But, while this is inexcusable, I still hope that you can forgive me. It was due to illnesses that struck me, tests that I had to write for my study, private issues, a dog that attacked me, and the death of a grandmother of my wife that struck us with quite some grief. And all of that took away time that I wish that I could have put into the effort of making new YouTube videos, but I hope that such events won't take place in the near or greater future and that I have more time that I can dedicate to creating new content for you. First of all, many of you requested that I should do more videos in front of the camera talking, which is what I'm doing quite well. Hopefully I do it good, which I'm doing quite now. It's still a mystery to me how you can endure to hear my voice all the time or bear my accent, and I'm not exactly eye candy either, but well, you wished for it, be careful what you wish for, you might get it. So I will do more videos on camera. I will also continue text-based videos for some topics, but I will come to that point later. Now to the plans. You can relax. I do not plan on changing the channel to a great degree. I will stay to its true roots, to Asatru, and I will put out much more videos about the gods, the goddesses and other godlike beings in detail, addressing various problems and issues people may have with the faith, problems that the faith has with itself, like various groups of interests conflicting with each other, and give a generally deeper insight into the mythology and discuss the faith more in depth. I will also address more topics that are seemingly popular and important for you guys, like racism and sexism, and I wanted to do an introduction series into the faith, explaining the roots that you should have if you plan on starting out, like important gods, important goddesses, godlike beings, the universe in itself, the worldview, the virtues, the source material that you should be familiar with, some important history stuff, but not dates like in history class, but really events and people that you should know about, the heroes, what we can learn from them, what inspires people, and some background of the culture where all of that took place, how the culture changed, how the faith indeed changed, and how it has a place in the modern world and can be practiced. I will also talk more about topics that surround Asatru, like berserkers, rituals, holidays, bloat, celebrations, the mindset, virtues, and many other things. And disclaimer, it will be my personal opinion and not something like the ultimate truth or that's the only way it is true or it's the only way to do it right. No, it's just my opinion, and well, I hope you can learn from that. I do not believe that there is some basic stuff that everyone has to believe in and it's just that way that it can be done right, because faith and the relation to the gods and ancestors is very personal, and I just want to encourage people to think about it and come to their own conclusions and practices. To the updates, what will change? I will try to make this channel more popular and reach out to more people. Well, what does that mean? I believe that the best way to reach people and get them interested is by pulling them in with things that they are interested in. You know, if you talk about stuff that interests you with a person who isn't interested in it, they will likely not even listen to you, and and far less they will care about it or join the club. But if you talk about things that interest them, they will listen and they will join in. And ASATRU needs much more recognition in the public, much more people practicing it, and much more exposure in the media, and just get it more widespread, because so many people haven't even heard of ASATRU. And yeah, that's really a shame, and that should change. And thus I will discuss topics that are more appealing to the public. So I want to do a series that discusses the TV show Vikings from BBC. I plan on discussing the episodes and the overall theme of the series, the historical correctness inside Vikings, what is correct, what isn't, the presentation and the importance of the faith in the series, the society, how it is presented and how it really has been, the historical characters that are presented in the series and how much historical accuracy actually is there, the culture of the Vikings, what they presented well, what they did quite badly, where they could have improved, the costumes, and the knowledge that is given to the Vikings inside the series, as well as the mythology they use inside the series, along with reviews and, well, let's say examples where the creators could have done much better and be much more accurate without losing any of the enjoyment that people have from watching the series, and indeed how we could improve the enjoyment of the people watching. I also plan to do similar things with other popular stuff, like the show Game of Thrones, that you likely know, and discuss how much ASATRU is in Game of Thrones and where they directly take from the ASATRU mythology, or Lord of the Rings, and of course other works from Tolkien like the Silmarillion or the Hobbit that draw heavily from ASATRU, including the names of many characters that appear in the books and the movies, and to see how much ASATRU actually influenced modern fantasy as a genre, made books, games, movies, just how much ASATRU we have in fantasy in general. I also plan on analyzing other shows like the Grimm series and many movies that have a heavy Viking theme, and see how well they do, what can be done better, which are good, which are so bad you should never ever watch them, and in general give you more ideas about good Viking representation in the media. I will also go talking about computer games that have a heavy Viking theme like Skyrim or Rune, and like with the movies, compare how much accuracy is in those games. Where could they have done better? Where did they draw mythology or mindset or virtues from ASATRU into the game world? And give you a more detailed review of those games through the lens of ASATRU. And coming to the next medium, music. How much ASATRU is in pop culture texts, how much themes are ASATRU, and what bands actually base their work on ASATRU and try to recreate Viking or even more ancient music, and do rather well in that. I will also do videos about ASATRU and the modern world, how much ASATRU influenced our modern Western world, its worldview, its virtues, its general dealings in everyday life, from politics to religion to really how we see the world, and how much of that is ASATRU, how much Christianity took directly from ASATRU and integrated it in its own religion, how much ASATRU can or could do for the world in terms of, let's say, politics, how it could lead to a better world, how it could affect people to be better humans, better people, how ASATRU actually influences our daily life on a regular basis without us even knowing about it. But the most requested stuff, language courses. Yes, I will do some language courses. Now, some of you may know that I actually already teach Old Norse in German, and that I hope I'm not too terrible in English so I can't get the ideas over. But mistakes in my English are bound to happen, as it's not my native language, which is German. So, language courses. I would like to start with Dovazul. Dovazul, for those who don't know, is a constructed language from the game Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Yes, it's spoken by dragons and ancient Nords, and since Skyrim bases heavily on Vikings, it's a quite cool constructed language. And if you play those games, it will really enhance your game experience a lot if you are able to speak the language and actually can read the word walls or understand what people and dragons say to you. But the real reason I want to go for this language is that it is a mash-up of Old English, Old High German and Old Norse. 3 Germanic languages meshed together, and Dovazul can really give you a basic understanding of how Germanic languages work, how they sound, and will make it easier for you to learn other languages. And that's the interesting point why I want to put it first. Because there have been many studies that have shown that if you plan on language learning, the best way to start out is to learn a constructed language, a conlang, first. Why? Because constructed languages tend to be a lot easier than real languages. Real languages have dictionaries with 10,000s of words, so a huge vocabulary. They have very complex and illogical grammatical rules. They have exceptions, they have special rules. They are victims to sound changes, sound variations, dialects, and all kind of confusing stuff that makes no sense, and constructed languages usually don't deal with any of those problems, as they are much more logically built from the very start and didn't have to go through a lot of history changing them, and they are just much easier to grasp as they are simpler languages. And these studies have shown that if you start out with a very easy constructed language, the chances are that your brain has enough time and fun wiring all these new connections together, and makes it much easier for you to learn different foreign languages, real languages, after that. So if you already have learned a secondary language, great, Dovazul won't hurt. If you haven't, Dovazul is for you, because, as said, it makes learning other languages much easier if you start out easy, and it will eliminate much misconceptions that you have about, or likely have about, language learning. Now, the next course I want to put up is the one that will hopefully interest most of you, Old Norse. Yes, Old Norse is very important for many reasons. Just as short summary, almost all the source material we have for our faith is written in Old Norse, and while there are good translations out there, the problem is that the translations always carry some bias and some misconceptions and some preconceptions from the translator. And sometimes you can't really bring the meaning of a text into the language you are translating in, because the language you are translating it into has very different concepts of explaining things, of getting things to the reader, and thus making it almost impossible to get the actual meaning from the text to the translation, which can be very confusing, and if you translate word by word you likely won't make any sense, and you could interpret it wrong, and many problems occur. So being able to read the source material is great. Also, Old Norse is almost the same as modern day Icelandic. While there are some grammatical changes and the pronunciation changes a lot, if you speak Old Norse you can communicate with modern day Icelanders without too many problems. And if you are working in the industry of, say, computers or cars, it will actually benefit your job and your chances to get jobs inside those fields, because Icelanders import a lot of stuff, and thus people who are able to communicate with Icelanders are sought by the industry. And of course, Old Norse is kinda cool, at least if you ask me, and it helps you to understand English and other Germanic languages much better. The next course I want to give is Proto-German. Now, Proto-German is a reconstructed language, which means we have no idea if it's actually correct and if it is the way that our ancestors spoke, but we can be quite sure that it at least comes close to what people spoke in around the year of the birth of Christ or something earlier. Now, the cool thing about Proto-German is that it is the base of Germanic languages, just like Latin is the base of the Romance languages. And if you speak Proto-German, you can very easily learn other Germanic languages like German, English, which of course you already speak, Norwegian, Danish, Swedish, and Afrikaans, and some others. And of course, it has some practical value. If you are, say, into linguistics, you will get a much better understanding of Germanic languages in general, and the grammar and the understanding of the world that is quite different from, let's say, the Romance understanding of the world. And of course, it can help you to encrypt emails or, well, have conversations no one should listen to, because if you write or speak in Proto-German, almost no one will ever understand what you are talking about. And of course, I maybe give lessons in German. Why German? Well, it's my native language, and while I know that there is already a lot of material on how to learn German on YouTube, I thought it could be a good idea to give my own standpoint, and as someone who already teaches languages, could actually help improve your German, which is also kinda important if you work in certain industries or want to communicate with other people, as German is much more widespread than most people realize. Now, having said that, I just wanted to say a big thank you for watching my channel, and a very big thank you for being here. Have a nice day and see you next time.